Hey my beautiful bitches, it's me, Fiona St. James, and welcome to Fiona's Coffee Talks. And as usual, I'd like to start off every morning with a hot black cup of coffee. Hold the cream! I'd love to. In my all-time favorite coffee mug, with the quote of the century by Oscar Wilde, "Life is too important to be taken seriously, so lighten up folks, it's all good." So, today's topic is a podcast. I recently went to the Sex Expo in Brooklyn with a dear friend of mine, Selena. Hey, girl. And because I have written my book, she was like, girl, you should get on a podcast. So we went there, and it was in Brooklyn. It was a couple of months ago. And there's a podcast out there called the Shameless Sex Podcast with these two amazing women based out of California, Amy and April. And walked up to them, had a great conversation, spent about 5-10 minutes, told them this is who I am, this is what I'm all about. You know, shameless sex. Who hasn't done it? You remember Dignity, right? I lost that in the 70s. So anyway, we had this great rapport with one another, and lo and behold, like a week later, they contacted me and said, we would love for you to do a podcast. So we scheduled that. I actually filmed it at the end of October 30th, and it premiered. It aired for the first time about a month ago, I would say. And it was just wonderful. But when we shot it, you know, we only met that one time briefly, like 5-10 minutes. And then we actually, when we did the podcast, you know, that's all just audio. There's no visual. But in listening to it, you would have thought that like the three of us were best friends. And I just had an amazing time with them. And, you know, and I was so happy that there was an outlet or a platform to actually, you know, speak about sex so openly. So I got to give kudos to them. You know, they made the entire experience wonderful. It's been interesting too, because I think that a large portion of their following are like, you know, women from the Midwest and, you know, predominantly heterosexual or bisexual women. And, since the podcast aired, which was, like I said, close to a month ago, I've been getting all these book orders or you know, more book orders than I was already getting. And it's been all of these like females like in the Midwest, you know, and places outside of New York or California, which is where the majority of my book orders have been. When I talk about my book, I am referring to my memoirs, The Life and Crimes of Fiona St. James, which you can get on my website, FionaStJames.com. And it is filled with stories and my whole life, including, you know, acting and drag and sex worker and shameless sex stories with and without pay. And you could tune into the podcast if you go on either Spotify or Google Play or YouTube or their actual website itself, shamelesssex.com, iTunes, and check it out. I had a lot of fun doing it. I think they're great. I think it's wonderful that they have this platform to speak about it so freely, and they have all different types of people, predominantly female. So I know it was not commonplace for them to have a gay male like me, you know, telling my stories, but I was really quite flattered and honored that they wanted me as a guest on the show, and it was quite the experience for me. And I'm hoping that I get to do more podcasts. So I'm gonna, you know, put my name out there and do my little investigating and see, you know, who else might want to hear my stories, you know, what other podcasts that is. So, but check that out. In addition to my YouTube channel, check out the podcast on their YouTube channel, Shameless Sex Podcast. Okay, I'm making this one short. Just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget subscribe, hit the notification button, and I look forward to being with you guys again sooner than later. Thank you. Bye guys, love you.